Hi, my name is Danae Pierre, and I lead a network of churches. I work with Christian leaders across the nation, and one of the things we have really focused on this last decade has been establishing in different cities networks and alliances of churches and pastors who are equipped to work across denominational lines, across faith traditions, across socioeconomic and even neighborhoods within a city, to be able to identify needs that their city has and their community has, and work collaboratively to form partnerships to meet those needs. And so we have seen it very effective to be able to do a lot of training with pastors and leaders to know how to be grassroots community organizers, essentially, to be able to go into a neighborhood that their building has been in for a long time and build and establish relationships and partnerships, to really listen to the needs of the community and to work across organizations and vocations so that they can begin to see real change. Since COVID, there's been, of course, as with anyone who's working in this area, so much need that has instantly come to the surface, an overwhelming amount, from public schools reaching out to asking for help, to local blood banks being dry, to housing for church members in our poorest neighborhoods all of a sudden becoming even more difficult. Of course, the risk to our neighbors who are not documented. So we've been doing a lot of work for the last 10 years, and I would say since COVID, it's just been an avalanche of need. And one of the things that's been really encouraging has been to see how these small grassroots, mostly minority-led organizations are able to respond very quickly and with a lot of agility because of the long established relationships that have been focused on, but also the amount of partnerships and collaborations that are happening. That a lot of these grassroots entities are able to respond to individual needs in ways that have been able to provide a lot of triaging to the initial impact of COVID in our communities. And it's been very encouraging to see. I would say the other piece that we've noticed has been since George Floyd's murder and even the weeks leading up to it, as there's been this reemergence of the Black Lives Matter movement in the headlines for the first time. Even though we've been doing work to educate and build relationship with white evangelicals for a long time, for the first time we have seen a response to the Black Lives Matter movement and a desire to learn and press in and engage on racial justice in ways we've never seen from that group of churches before. And so it's also been very encouraging to watch church members and church leaders, pastors who've been pretty silent or just absent from certain conversations because they're kind of afraid of the political polarization that, or they're just their church tends to have a lot of people who associate their religion with a certain political party. It's been really encouraging to see the last few months just a lot of those categories disrupted, and to see pastors and key network leaders, organizations who represent hundreds or even thousands of pastors, reach out and begin to go on a learning journey to look at how they need to rework their own structures and to be part of change in their communities. So we've seen these churches be very much a part of the protests and the desire to see police brutality addressed and racism at large in all of our systems. And so this is another fruit that we've noticed from just, again, this focus on equipping grassroots leaders to build strong alliances and work on movement building. We're now seeing more and more even evangelicals cross lines that they normally wouldn't have crossed and be willing to engage, work with other faith traditions in ways that we think will ultimately, we hope, will lead to greater flourishing in our most vulnerable communities.